Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the episode 8 of Sprout Asia Express Season 6. So, I'm Samira, and I'll be your host for today. And thank you again, guys, for dropping by here. By the way, happy Thursday. It's already Thursday morning, so it's near for a weekend, and at the same time, we'll be having this exciting topic for us today. So I'm pretty sure you'll be relating to the topic that we have right now. And I personally actually is really relating to this topic, and I love to learn more about it because our topic for today is all about stress and also being productive in our work from home setting. So, by the way, if you like webinars like this, please don't forget to follow our social media pages as Proud Asia Tech and be on the lookout for new episodes like this, which we really love to add actually. Or we really love to provide you a really relatable topics like this. So we're also live in Facebook and YouTube as well. So just to give you a quick introduction of who we are, Sprout Solutions is the leading HR and payroll solutions provider here in the Philippines that aims to help businesses transform and automate their HR processes. Just like the new normal of virtual festivities and Filipino spirit, we celebrate innovations by providing businesses become digital now. So once again, a hearty welcome to everyone tuning in for this episode, HR Sprout Experts, episode 8. So I know that you guys are looking forward for this kind of seminar, but we'll go ahead and have an icebreaker for now. Wait, Holland. Here we go, the icebreaker. So how do you distress after a long day? So here are like 4 questions that you actually want to try to answer here. So again, number 1 question is, how do you distress after a long day at work? First is it the stress away while watching a good series, or chica time with my colleagues and friends, cuddle with pets, practice and indulge in any creative activities. So if you want, you can go ahead and answer your question in the poll. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I do all of this. I do all of the above. Like I just bought a pet on my end, and then at the same time, I love talking to my friends and my colleagues as well. And I watch Netflix. And also, in terms of creative activities, perhaps I do like drawing and stuff. So I do all of it to make sure that I become productive and it away and release all of the stress that we have. Okay. We're So, did you guys answer it though? I couldn't see. Checking. Oh, okay. It didn't show actually the answers. But thank you so much for everyone who answered. You can actually go ahead and answer it as well in the chat, so I'll be able to read it and check it out. But I wasn't able to see the poll answer here. Oh wait, oh here we are. Okay, the first 50% of the attendance right now answered it to stress away while watching a good series. What do you guys watch anyway? You also watch Netflix or in or anime or whatever, or watching this kind of webinars. And the 32% actually answered ticket time with my colleagues and friends. 10% for cuddle with pets, and then 8% for practice and indulge in any creative activities. Well, that's true. That's nice. Stress or not, I eat away and watch that. That's the same thing. I can agree to that. I do that a lot. All right. Next, we have a next question here. Let me see. Is there like a next question or no more? Okay, so that's only the iceberg that we have. Moving on, we have actually another thing for you guys before we start. It's called the raffle. So there are some people who already know this kind of raffle that we provide every webinar that we make. So here are the instructions. Collect all three keywords and get a chance to win a 200 pesos Grab gift card. So that 200 pesos you can use it for Grab Pay, for Grab Food, or you can use it for Grab Car as well. So first is collect all three keywords that will be flashed on the screen throughout the webinar. The second is subscribe to Sprout's official YouTube channel at Sprout HR Tech. And then number three, comment all three keywords on the live broadcast on YouTube. And then we'll announce the lucky winner at the end of the session. And then lastly, we'll be sending the prizes via email after the session. So get tuned, guys. So we'll be providing all these three keywords along the whole webinar. So we can provide it earlier in the webinar, in middle, in the end, or it depends, or during while the speaker is talking. So it will be randomly. All right, moving on. I know that you guys are excited, but here is the first keyword I'll be providing to you guys. So the first keyword is fitness. Again, guys, I hope you got the instructions for the raffle and everything. So basically, you need to go to our YouTube channel, comment all three keywords that we have. Just for now, the first keyword is fitness, but you can go ahead and just note it for now. And then moving on, once you have the three keywords, you can go ahead and comment it in our YouTube channel. And then we'll be announcing the winners. There we go. So while you guys are logging onto your YouTube accounts, I just want to let you know that there will be a fireside chat session wherein you can ask our panelists questions about today's topic, which is work from home productivity and personal wellness. So start listing down your questions and we'll be addressing them as much as we can later on. So we'll be addressing them after the whole speakers who mentioned or who will be talking about it. So now, guys, without further ado, I would like to introduce to you to our first speaker. He is a civil engineer who decided to quit the corporate work back in 2003 to pursue freelancing and entrepreneurship. He's a registered financial planner and a content creator with more than 350,000 followers across his social media channels. That's why he's been recognized as by Money Sense magazine as among the top 12 most influential people in personal finance in the Philippines. He is a blogger, author of several books, newspaper columnist, podcaster, live streamer, tech startup founder, entrepreneurship, and a regular resource person for various television and radio programs. He also works as a corporate speaker and trainer for several social civic organizations in the country and a director for Wealth Archie, an investment consulting and financial planning firm he founded that aims to help Filipino families achieve their financial goals. So let's give a round of applause for Mr. Fitz Gerard Villafuerte.
Hello and good morning. Yan. So, I'm really excited to speak today, and I hope you're all doing well. And I would like to thank Sprout for inviting me to be your speaker. And I was asked today to talk about work from home productivity and personal wellness. And na-excite ako kasi this is not something that I am usually invited to talk about because I am working in the financial industry. So, of course, this is something that I consider really important. And next slide, please. Just to give you a short introduction again about myself, my name is Fitz Villafuerte. So, my name is Fitz. I know mas common yung Fritz, but if you call me Fritz, hindi kita papansinin. No? So, my name is Fitz Villafuerte and I am a registered financial planner. I don't know if you're familiar with a registered financial planner, but we're really like doctors. If you have if you're not feeling well, you go to a doctor for a medical consultation. Now, kung ang may sakit sa'yo ay yung bulsa mo, your wallet is not feeling well, then you go to someone like me who is a registered financial planner. And I'm also a content creator. As mentioned earlier, I create videos and I also um, write articles on my blog, and I'm also a podcaster. And this is my way of spreading financial literacy for Filipinos. And I am also an entrepreneur. I have businesses offline and online. And as you can see, I've been doing this since 2003, which means that I've been actually working from home most of the time. So I left the corporate world back in 2003. And I can share with you some of the tips that I've learned, some of the lessons that I've learned while working from home, especially in the past year with the pandemic and all. I haven't really been able to go out in a co-working space or in a coffee shop to work, but I've really been spending a lot of time at home. Next slide, please. So, of course, working from home, especially if you're used to being in an office, the change will really trigger a lot of stress. Next, please. And there are a lot of reasons why we feel stressful, why we feel anxious. So the first thing that I would like to tell you is it's normal. However, what are the main sources of stress that we feel when we are working from home? So there are three general areas. Next, please. The first one is, of course, our environment. Yung bahay natin, that is our comfort zone. Our home is where we relax, where we rest, where we can be ourselves. So, of course, if your home suddenly becomes your office and you need to work, then usually we have a different personality, di ba? We have different energy levels whenever we are working versus when we're just relaxing at home. And of course, your home isn't really designed for work, so that change will really trigger some stress. Next, please. And our home also has a lot of distractions. Siyempre, yung kapitbahay mo na nagluluto ng lunch, maaamoy mo yung ulam habang nagtatrabaho ka. So that's not something that's really conducive for work. So the sounds and smells of home, of course, if we have pets, we can probably hear dog barks. And right now, sanay na rin ako ngayon whenever na may ka-meeting ako na there will be a baby crying or someone's going to knock on the door. So, of course, again, those distractions, they cut us off from the momentum of working. Nagsusulat ka ng isang report, tapos may biglang tatawag sa iyo yung kasama mo sa bahay, bigla kang tatanungin kung gusto mo nang kumain ng lunch, etc. So of course, we have all these distractions at home which adds to our stress. Next slide, please. And then there are also temptations, mga temptations to be lazy and procrastinate at home. So especially if you're working inside your bedroom, 'di ba? Pag medyo nasi-stress ka dun sa ginagawa mong work, mapapatingin ka na lang dun sa kama mo. And since you're working from home, nobody's gonna stop you from going to your bed and sleeping or taking a nap. So there are a lot of temptations for you to be lazy or to procrastinate at work in your house or in your home. And of course, working alone can feel lonely at times. Iba yung nasa office ka wherein you will see other people, your office mates also working. Nakakadagdag yun dun sa motivation mo na magtrabaho if you see other people working. And that's also the reason why I like going to co-working spaces and to some coffee shops pre-pandemic whenever I wanted to have a change of scenery from work. And of course, our willpower, it's a limited resource. And whenever you're working at home and you're constantly trying to resist the temptation to open the television and watch Netflix or go to your bed to take a nap, that depletes a little bit of your willpower, but compound it the whole day, then that will really affect your productivity at home, which will again add to your stress because you're also constantly thinking, hey, I need to finish this work. I need to finish this before the end of the day. So these are the main areas of stress, the main areas where stress comes from if we're working from home. Next slide, please. However, the good news is there are some things that we can do to manage our stress and also to increase our productivity if ever we are forced to work from home for the foreseeable future. Next, please. So I will give you 4 tips that has worked well for me to increase my productivity when I am working from home. Next, please. So the first tip that I would like to give you is to set up a workspace. So assign a specific place for work and create a virtual boundary. So it would be perfect if you have a spare room at home and you can set that up as your home office. But of course, not everyone has that opportunity. And my tip is to really assign a specific corner in your house where you will work. And some people it will be in their bedroom, some of them some people it will be uh, in a corner in their living room. So wherever it is, make sure that you design it as an office, meaning you can set a virtual boundary. In my case, I have a side table. Aside from my work table, I have a side table, and then I have a plant, a house plant beside me. So the space really looks like a mini cubicle. So creating this virtual boundary will help you be separated from the rest of the house. So it's helpful not only to you but also in giving you your private space uh, with your housemates. Okay, so setting up a workspace doesn't have to be like it doesn't have to really look like an office, but it, mentally or for you, it's really the space where you work, so that it will help you have the proper mindset now whenever you go inside this or whenever you sit on your work desk. Okay, I am not at home, quote unquote, anymore. This is now a place where I need to be productive. Next slide, please. Okay. So it's also very important to follow a routine. And I know I have some friends na when they started working from home, parang ang gulo-gulo ng schedule nila because of course when you're working from home, usually you are given tasks that are not really I would say scheduled, or you have office tasks that you can do anytime, right? But what I have found helpful is to maintain a work schedule, meaning if you assign yourself to work from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., then it helps if you will follow that schedule. I know some people they are more productive in the afternoon until the early evening. So if you're allowed to do that, then go ahead. It's important to know what times are you productive and then try to stick to that time. So it's really important to set a hard stop on your work So if you decide that you'll work only until 5 p.m., so try to imagine that you're actually in the office also. And when it's 5 p.m., then you stop working and you try to transition towards being at home. Having this deadline, this hard stop in your work every day will really help you manage the stress because it's just like working in an office na pag uwian na, di ba, masaya ka na. So it will also create that. And of course, when you're working the whole day, it's important to schedule your breaks, meaning your coffee break, merienda, and lunch break. And that will really help you maintain your momentum when you're working. And also, that will help your housemates if ever you're with your family or with a roommate. That will also help them understand yung work routine. Next slide, please. Which means it's also important to onboard everyone. Meaning, when I say everyone, everyone who is living with you. So you should inform your housemates of your schedule and your need for privacy. Sometimes it's not enough to tell them na, oy, may meeting ako ng 11, do not disturb me. For me, it's important na, if possible, you have like a visual board or like a schedule of your important meetings or your uh, conferences, your virtual meetings, so that they know when to really keep quiet and not to disturb you. Kasi if they just see you staring on your computer, they might think na, pwede ko siguro tong lapitan, tatanungin ko, or whatever. So, in my case, I really have my schedule posted outside the door of my room so that they know if they can safely come in or they should leave me. They should be quiet and just leave me alone, no, for lack of a better word. And I have friends who put up a do not disturb sign, or whenever they are in a meeting, they of course they will turn on their ring light. So they tell their friends, their roommates, that when my ring light is on, it means that I'm online. So don't walk behind me naked. So something like that. So it's really important to be open with the people living who you are living with and to inform them of your requirements. So of course you will also need to cooperate with them if you're not the only one working from home, then you should set up your own spaces and uh, compromise on how you will be able to work together at home. Next slide, please. Lastly, it's really important to dress for the job. I know usong-uso ngayon, 'di ba, na naka polo sa taas or naka-forma sa taas tapos naka-pambahay sa baba. But I think there's value in really thinking that you're going to the office, which means you take a shower, you, I don't know, put on makeup, set your hair, and then put on office clothes or work clothes, because that helps your mindset to prepare that, hey, I'm going to do work right now. Plus, pag nakapantalon ka, I don't I wouldn't recommend being in shoes anymore. I know it's more comfortable na naka sandals, no. But yeah, when you're in pants and polo, the temptation to go to your bed and lie down goes down, di ba? So it really helps your productivity. So prepare for work as if you're going to the office, because you are going to your home office and you're going to do work. Next slide, please. So aside from the managing our work from home stress, of course, because of the pandemic and because of everything that's happening around the news and all of these, we also need to learn how to manage our general stress and anxiety. So I am going to give you 5 tips that has worked for me. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned earlier, it's really important to have a daily routine. So what the benefits of having a daily routine for me has been it has helped me conserve my mental energy for things that matter. So, of course, para tayong mga freelancers ngayon na working from home, di ba? So, which means we really have all of these decisions that we can make every day na anong oras ba ako kakain, uh, ano ba yung gagawin kong work today, etc. No? So, for me, unlike when you're in the office, siyempre pag sa office, you have your lunch breaks talaga that you need to follow. And then usually you have your boss telling you what to do. So you don't have to think of the work that you need to prioritize kasi depende kung ano yung gustong ipagawa sa'yo ng boss mo or what your team in the office is going to work on. So if you have a lot of freedom to choose what you'll do throughout the day, it's better to have or to set a daily routine. Meaning, I'll just share what I do. Usually, when I wake up in the morning, of course, I have my morning routine. And then I start my work at around 9 o'clock. And I usually tackle the hard stuff first. Before lunch, I would need to do the analytical reports that I need to write. So all the analytical work I do in the morning, and then of course I have my lunch. After lunch, that's usually when I first open my inbox. So I only start answering and looking through my emails after lunch. But I have a hard stop at around 3 o'clock where I take my coffee break. And then after my coffee break, that's when I try to see if there's any tasks that I need to do before the end of the day. So that's basically my daily routine. That's basically what I do every day. So I don't have to think about ano bang gagawin ko ngayon or ano bang gagawin ko next because I already assigned the same type of task, the same type of mental work that I need to do. Tapos nagpe-prepare na yung brain ko na okay, so yung willpower ko and again my mental energy mas nafo-focus ko dun sa mga kailangan kong bigyan ng attention. Next please. This is very important. You need to maintain a regular sleep schedule, meaning go to bed and wake up the same time every day. And you need to have 7 to 8 hours of sleep every day. So, of course, kung medyo bata ka pa, inisip mo na, I can get by with 4 or 5 hours of sleep. Well, yes, I would say you can probably get by with little sleep. However, what I've noticed is there's really a boost in productivity kapag kumpleto ang tulog mo, di ba? So, as a blogger, so I have a website and I was really prolific in writing articles before. And ang isang blog article that would normally take me around 4 or 5 hours to write before. So before, medyo mahilig ako magpuyat and marami akong ginagawa. So I only get around 4 or 5 hours of sleep. And one article would take me around 4 or 5 hours to write then. However, when I started becoming strict with my sleep schedule, I noticed that whenever I need to write an article, it would only take me around 1 hour or 2 hours. So mas nagiging productive ako. And one of the reasons I attribute that to having enough sleep. So regardless or no matter how tempting it is to delay your sleep, I would say na the benefits far outweigh yung extra hours that you get get to work or you get to watch some of your series. So ako, I am very strict with my TV watching. I do not deprive myself from watching television series or streaming shows, no. But I am very strict with my sleep schedule. I am stricter with my sleep schedule. So go to bed and wake up the same time every day. And you won't need an alarm clock anymore. Pag nasanay ka na yan, so that will really boost your productivity kasi it's easier for you to set your daily routine. Next, please. Another very helpful stress management tip is, of course, to reach out to your social circle. Lalo na ngayon, if you're working from home, wala ka masyadong kausap, ayaw mo namang kausap parati yung mga housemates mo or yung family mo. So, reach out to your friends, reach out to your relatives, yung mga pinsan mo na hindi mo masyadong nakakausap or nakikita na, no? So, and of course, we have social media where you can chat. However, I would really recommend to doing a voice chat. So, it's better to call them. Minsan, it's also good to have Zoom hangout. I actually have a once a month Zoom hangout with my college friends. Kasi before, pre-pandemic, we would actually meet up, have dinner, watch movies, etc. However, syempre, hindi tayo nakakalabas. So what we do is we hang out on Zoom and sometimes we have watch parties kasi 'di ba nakakamiss din manood ng sine with friends. So what we do is we have watch parties and reaching out to your friends, especially yung being able to hear their voices and being able to interact with them visually, that is really a great stress management strategy. Next, please. So it's also important to have self-regulation. And when I say self-regulation, this is being aware of our thoughts, being aware of how we are feeling. And of course, it really helps to learn how to do affirmations on ourselves. Sometimes um, having an attitude of gratitude is all you need to be able to have a better sense of well-being. So one of the self-regulation uh, techniques that I do is I actually keep a journal. So in my journal, that's where I write my thoughts. And writing down your thoughts and how you're feeling is a great way to sort out all the things that you're thinking about and put them in a structured story or giving it some structure and putting it down on paper. So that really helps regulate our emotions. And at the end of whatever I'm writing for the day, I always put down one or two things that I am grateful for. And science supports this. Having an attitude of gratitude will really give us a better sense of well-being. Next, please. So, my I think this is my last tip. It's also important to take care of our health. So even if you're stuck at home, that's not an excuse to skip on exercising and especially meditating. So take care of your physical and your mental health. So there are a lot of videos, free videos that you can watch that you can where you can do home workouts. And then not a lot of people do this, but for me, it has been really beneficial, which is doing mindful meditation. So you only need around 10 minutes every day of mindful meditation, and that will really help you regulate your mental stress or your emotions. So again, this is supported by science. There are already a lot of research and studies that say that meditation will really help you have a better sense of well-being. Next slide, please. So that's all the tip that I prepared for today, and I hope you learned something new and valuable from the things that I've shared. So I would like to thank everyone for listening, and if you're interested to manage your financial stress, so of course I put out free content on personal finance and investments. And you can check out my portal, which is at readytoberich.com. And I also have a podcast. The title of my podcast is The 80% with Fitz Villafuerte, where I also talk about behavioral finance, meaning what is the proper attitude, the proper mindset. If you want to improve your wealth, or if you want to improve your personal finance and build your wealth. So currently, the 80% is the number one business and finance podcast on Spotify. So I hope you check it out. So that's it. Again, thank you everyone for listening, and I hope everyone is has found a valuable lesson to the things that I've shared. So looking forward to interacting with everyone later on in our panel discussion. So that's it. Thank you and have a great morning.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Fritz, for your presentation. I'm pretty sure that everyone has learned a lot on this. And I just actually want to add on that. So again, guys, one of the things that Mr. Fritz highlighted earlier is like you using or working with your office attire, because there will be a lot of difference between working at your normal clothes versus working at your office attire, because there is like a psychological effect on it by you taking a bath early and at the same time working with your office attire. It makes your brain automatically think of you working even though you're at home, and it's really beneficial for you at the same time to make sure that your workspace is clean and also purely for work. There's You can go ahead and grab some snacks and etc., but you have to make sure that you have a notepad, you have your laptop or your PC for you to be able to work properly. You have to make sure that your area is really for work in order for you to actually feel that you're working, you need to be productive and all. And you have to remove yourself near for your bed or your couch or whatnot. You can go ahead and actually rest and all, but you have to make sure that it, every day is this 9 to 6 p.m. or depends on your shift. You have to make sure that this is work hours. You have to make sure, and you also have to sleep early. You have to make sure that you have enough sleep, because the moment that you have less than sleep, it will make you feel like you're sleepy, you're drowsy, you want to rest and all. So you have to make sure you have enough sleep, you're not stressed, you have a good night's sleep, beauty sleep for girls or also for guys and something like that. So that's one of the things that I want to share, because it actually became a beneficial for me on my end. I had to adjust myself last year to this whole work from home setup, and at first it was really hard because you got used to like, oh hey, here's my couch, I'm so comfortable here at my home, but you have to change it. And little by little, when you try to change it day after day, it will become a routine. And eventually, you have to make sure that the the meditation. It really helps a lot. The 10 minutes that you have for your time, the 10 minutes that you use on your phone, scrolling to your Facebook, to your social media, you can use that 10 minutes to meditate, and it will really help a lot. It will help a lot in the long term. Just 10 minutes meditating every day, and then soon after a week, after 2 weeks, after 1 month, after 3 months, and etc., you will see how beneficial it becomes. So, yep, that's about it for me. Actually, I just want to share a little bit about that. So, I know that you guys have a lot of thoughts and questions. So, please feel free to go ahead and chat your questions, and we'll go ahead and answer that in a few minutes. So, now, guys, I want to show you the second raffle keyword for us today. So, the second raffle keyword is actually robust. Again, guys, the second keyword is robust. There we go. Again, guys, in order for you to join the raffle, you have to check out our YouTube channel and jot down all the three keywords and then put it in the YouTube channel. And we'll go ahead and announce winners later on. So before we go to the question and answer portion, we here at Sprout is in our culture to keep processing work-life integration. So if you're down to learn more about us as a company, take a look at this video.
So you've got your processes, and your company is an oiled machine that runs pretty smoothly, but under the hood, you have problems. You've got managers desperate to know the status of their open positions, leave requests getting lost in a jumble of emails, SMS and forms, and employees complaining about payroll errors. You've thought about some expensive custom software that would be a pain to maintain, or swimming in all the features of SAP or Oracle, or maybe even outsourcing your payroll altogether. Why can't you find a local, intelligent, well-supported software that caters to your needs as a Philippine company? Well, guess what? Here at Sprout, we've developed a system that just works. One system with all the features you need and without all those that you don't. So what are you waiting for? Get over to sprout.ph and get your systems fixed today.
All right. Thank you so much for watching that video. So, sorry, before we start to the fireside chat, we have a legal alert. So I hope you learned a thing about it too on that video. But I'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and introduce to you our legal assistant, Mr. Raisin Bukatkat, for our legal alerts.
Hello, good morning. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. So here's the tax update. So we have revenue regulation number 09/2021 issued on June 9, 2021 for the imposition of 12% value-added tax or VAT in certain transactions previously taxed at zero rate. So this is to update all concerned on the amendments to Revenue Regulations number 16/2005 as amended by Revenue Regulations number 13/2018 and Revenue Regulations 26/2018 to implement the imposition of 12% value-added tax or VAT on certain transactions previously taxed at zero rate. So the following transactions are now subject to 12% VAT. We have the sale of goods or properties and sale of services in use or lease of properties. So under the sale of goods or properties, we have the sale of raw materials or packaging materials to a non-resident buyer for delivery to a resident local export-oriented enterprise to be used in manufacturing, processing, packing, or repacking in the Philippines of the said buyer's goods paid for in acceptable foreign currency and accounted for in accordance with the rules and regulations of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Second is that the sale of raw materials or packaging materials to an export-oriented enterprise whose export sales exceed 70% of the total annual production. And lastly, those considered export sales under Executive Act number 226 or otherwise known as the Omnibus Investment Code of 1987 and other special laws. So the second is that the sale of services and use or lease of properties. Under this, we have the processing, manufacturing, or repacking goods for other persons doing business outside the Philippines, which goods are subsequently exported, where the services are paid for in acceptable foreign currency and accounted for in accordance with the rules and regulations of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. And lastly, the services performed by subcontractors and or contractors in processing, converting, or manufacturing goods for an enterprise whose export sales exceed 70% of the total annual production. So you can download this revenue regulations number 09/2021 at bir.gov.ph. So that would be all. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Oops. Hold on. Okay, guys, thank you so much, Mr. Racer, for that legal updates. So, to be known for the legal updates, make sure to follow at Sprout HR Tech on our Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter accounts. So, before we move on to the fireside chat, it's finally time to announce our third keyword for today for our raffle. Here is the third keyword for today, which is well-being. So again, guys, I'd just like to repeat our three raffle keywords for today. It is fitness, robust, and well-being. Lastly, guys, I just want to announce again the instructions for a referral to join the raffle. Simply follow our Sprout YouTube channel at Sprout HR Tech and comment these three keywords on our latest pin post or our live video here in the YouTube channel. So we'll be choosing our lucky winners via YouTube to make sure to comment your answers on our pin post. Again, guys, three keywords to be commented on our live channel, right? Which is fitness, robust, and well-being. Okay, thank you so much. So for the next portion of this webinar, we'll be having a fireside chat with our speakers and panelists. So if your questions are ready, be sure to type it in the chat box, and we'll go ahead and answer it with our panelists. So again, guys, I would like to welcome back Mr. Fitz Villafuerte. Joining him, we have our very own head of people's operations, Shang Trinidad, one of the legal one of Sprout's legal experts, our very own Razor Cat, who announced the legal alerts earlier.
Hello. Yeah.
All right, guys. Hello. So if you have questions, guys, please jot down in the chat now in our webinar Zoom. We'll also go ahead and check out our YouTube and Facebook channel if there are questions on there.
Mukhang marami silang natutunan and walang masyadong questions yata. No? But I would like to say that I'm really happy that I was able to share some of the tips that I mentioned earlier because I usually talk to clients every day, and aside from the financial stress, really the pandemic has brought on more anxiety to people. So I'm really glad that I was able to share some of the tips that I mentioned earlier.
That's true. So actually, here personally, I have a question for the panels. How do we keep practicing work-life integration when workload seems to be endless?
Sino ba? Oh,
Yeah, you can go
okay.
ahead, Mr. Razor.
I can start now. So for this question, for me kasi, ang ginagawa ko is by knowing your goal. Kasi if alam mo yung goal mo sa buhay, things will be smoother and easier. And always consider na lahat ng bagay na yan or paghihirap may reasons, and it will be worth it to do that. So, yan. Know your goal.
That's true. How about Miss Chang? Do you have additional on that?
Hi, everyone. So it's actually a very good question. And I know right now, as companies are slowly either transitioning to remote work or flexible, meaning pwedeng remote work, pwedeng mag-office, following safety protocols, of course, you have to understand the difference between work-life balance and work-life integration. And it's something na people have to realize. May pagkakaiba kasi yung dalawang terms. With work-life balance, there's a traditional image of a scale. So you have to choose between work or life, and that's something na people or employees experience during remote work or work from home. 'Di ba parang nabablur na kasi yung lines nyo between yung personal life nyo kasi nagwo-work kayo, where you sleep, where you eat. But if you start like changing your mindset to work-life integration, that would be a really big help, as Sir Fitz mentioned earlier. With work-life integration kasi you don't have to choose, you just have to do integration, which is an approach that creates synergies between all areas that define life. So that's work, home, family, your passion. And for me, I know yung work kasi hindi siya nawawala, but remember, the more disciplined you are, the more flexibility you have. And maybe like my last tip for this question is just communicate with your manager, with your immediate superior, and set your boundaries, set your limitations. Always prioritize yourself, your mental health, if you have responsibilities also at home, you make sure to always communicate with your immediate superior.
Yeah, I would like to add a little bit on that. You have to accept na hindi matatapos yung work. So, it will always be there. Matakot ka pag matatapos mo yung work mo, ibig sabihin mawawalan ka na ng trabaho, di ba? So, what is important is to set a daily goal when it comes to your work. So, for example, you have a big report. So, you just tell yourself na, okay, I need to finish like 10% of the report today. So, para meron kang boundary or hard stop on the work that you need to accomplish every day. But yung looking at it at the point na ang dami kong kailangan gawin, that will never stop. What you need to think about is ano ba yung kaya kong tapusin today, and then just focus on that, finishing the task that you have assigned to yourself to finish within the day. So I guess that will really help you. So that's it.
Yes, like I mentioned earlier, that being productive every day, or little by little you do things, and then you'll get used to it. So like making sure that that 10% every day of what you need to do for your work, that 10% will be 100%, and eventually it will be finished, and you'll be proud of it. You'll be happy of it. So yeah, thank you so much, Miss Shang, Razor, and Mr. Fritz, for that answer. So we have another question here. What regular corporate programs can be suggested to minimize stress and improve mental health being?
I can answer that one. All right. To minimize stress. So, as you guys know, the government mandated companies to have a mental health policy and programs in place. So it's really important to have one. Make sure that you follow everything na sinabi ni Dole about it, which is to raise awareness, prevent stigma and discrimination, and facilitate access to mental health. So first, I want managers. It's kasi it's a sensitive topic, and I know employees are struggling to open up. 'Di ba, may stigma behind it na when you say you're tired or you're burnout, there may be reactions na hindi okay sa inyo. So with that, we use kasi Pulse. Sprout Pulse is a really helpful tool for, especially for me as an HR practitioner, which is to send out surveys to my employees, to our employees, and know kung ano yung gusto nila mangyari, ano ba yung nararamdaman nila, and let's tackle one by one. If they're feeling stressed, ano ba yung pwedeng gawin doon? And comes in yung Sprout Wellness namin, which is holistic solution to address that. So yung Sprout Wellness kasi, it has yoga, it has meditation, it has consultations with licensed mental health professionals. So make sure na you know kung ano yung tina-target mo, and then do something about it. But of course, make sure na it's aligned with what your employees need. Hindi lang yung dahil gusto mong kasi yung iba nagpapa-seminar, and that's okay. Pero is it targeting the root cause of what employees are feeling or what they're dealing? Every time na may nag-open up na employees, make sure that their voices are heard, and then you do something about it. This is a really a collaboration between everyone, not just HR, not just management, but also employees as well.
Do you want to add up to that, Mr. Fritz?
No, I'm good. Yeah. Sorry.
It's okay. How about your Razor?
I agree with Shang, no? Like for example, yung Sprout Wellness. Maganda siya na, like for example, na-stress yung isang employee. Kagaya namin sa Sprout, may Sprout Wellness. So mag-schedule ka, and then you'll be able to talk with someone. And I think that's the best thing kasi minsan mahirap siya pag may mga trials ka or mga challenges, and then hindi mo siya na-voice out. So I think it's good na meron nakikinig sa'yo, and there's this thing na may advices din na binibigay. So yun.
On the other hand, I'd like to add a point then, no? I think it's also good if you can create a financial wellness program. Kasi pag stressed sa pera ang isang empleyado, it affects not just their mental health but also their productivity. So I've been able to work with some HR na nag-improve yung productivity ng mga empleyado nila nung naturuan sila paano mag-budget, how do you manage your debt, etc. So that's something to consider also.
It's actually like a nice option for us to take on later on, Thank you, Sir Fitz, for the suggestion on that. That's actually really nice because I personally know a lot of people who are having a hard time with their financial statistics, and then it just it affects how they work and everything else just because of how financial, like they need to pay this, they need to pay that, they need emergencies and etc, and it really just affects your work as a whole. So I agree with what Mr. Fitz mentioned earlier. Thank you so much for that one. We'll go ahead and take note of it, don't worry. And anyway, let's go ahead and go to the next question here. I always have anxiety when going to work. How do I avoid this when I feel so overwhelmed with work, even though it has not started yet?
Okay,
Alright.
ay,
Okay,
okay.
sige, go,
Sige.
go, Rizor.
Ako personally, may 3 hours ako. So, we have rest for a minute, rethink ano ba talaga yung gagawin mo, and repeat the process. So, you'll be conditioned on what you need to do for a specific time, and para mais din yung thinking mo instead na ini-stress mo lang yung sarili mo. So, yun yung para sa akin.
That's a really good point, Razor. And maybe I can speak for managers out there. Because I've heard this a lot. Anxiety kahit di pa nagsisimula yung work. So I'd always like to start work with DSMs or daily stand-up meetings. And kakamustahin mo muna yung employees. Don't start with work agad para ma-train yung thinking nila or yung brain nila na, okay, this is not just about work. You make them feel na you personally and genuinely care for them. So during our meetings also, may it be like Mancom or team meetings or any meetings at all, I make sure to always ask, oh, what's happening with your life right now, even on one-on-ones. Tapos kapag sa team meetings naman namin sa HR, we always start our meetings with good news. And I prefer good news to be a personal one rather than a work-related one. So just, I mean, anxiety, it's there, but yun na nga, pwede siyang gawan kasi ng paraan how you approach the employees. For the employees naman, seek help. And please don't be, I mean, I understand na people are really hesitant to seek professional help, but it's the first step. Acknowledge that you need help and you do something about it.
Yeah, I agree. You have to accept that is happening to you, and if you need someone to help you find the cause of that anxiety, then go ahead. And sometimes it means going to a professional and asking them for advice. There's, of course, a little bit of stigma when it comes to seeking professionals when it comes to our mental health, but I really consider it as like going to the dentist, di ba? So you're still seeing a doctor. So if you're, especially if parati na, no, and it's really affecting your lifestyle, yung anxiety or panic attacks, then you probably need medical guidance, no? So seek a doctor, and there's no shame in that. Yeah.
That's true. And it's really important for you to try to like slowly but surely adding up to like making a to-do task every day. Because I personally have like sometimes I go to anxiety and all like, oh my god, what am I gonna do today? There's so much in my plate right now. So what I do on that personally on my end is that I usually jot down what I need to do immediately, what I need to be doing right now, and then what can I do tomorrow and onwards. You don't have to do it all today. You can move, you can have like again what Mr. Fitz mentioned earlier, you can just go ahead and do 10% of that today or 20% of that today, and then you can move on to the next one. Because if you will feel like you need to do everything just in this one day, it's impossible. And that's how anxiety attack starts in work. Like you need to do everything in just one day or in this week and etc. And you really just have to just make 10%, 20%, and again, little by little you'll be able to work around on it. So we have a lot of questions here, guys, but it's almost 12, and I'll need to use or ask a question, ask the last question that we can for today. But thank you so much, guys, for those who answered the questions. We'll go ahead and try to um, answer it later on. But for now, this is the last question that we'll be answering for now. So the question here is how to manage and monitor the productivity of your staff working from home.
Alright. Maybe I could answer first. No, I have a lot of I have several staff who are working from home, and what I do is it's different from working in an office. So I don't really agree on really opening the webcam, you having monitor them if they're really working. So what I do with my staff is we usually have a Monday morning team meeting. So it's just online, and the goal of that meeting is for everyone to set their work goal for the week. So of course I will give them like tasks, but usually I just let them set their own goals that is acceptable to me, and then for the rest of the week they can work on their goals. But I have a checkpoint meeting usually Thursday afternoon or Friday morning, just to of course get the output that they promised for the week, or to ask them the status of the project that we're working on. So if I notice that they are continuously failing at meeting the deadlines that they have set themselves, then that's when I try to talk to them personally to see if there's anything wrong with how their work setup, or if there's anything that I can do to help them increase their productivity. So that's really uh, the what I monitor is the output and the quality of the output, but I don't monitor anymore if they're working the whole day, or if they're using their time watching TV and all of that. So I base it on the output that they produce. So that's it. That's what I think about that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fitz. Miss Chang, do you want to add a little bit of it? Or you're
Um,
good?
yeah, I'm good. I completely agree with Fitz. I just like sorry, I know we're over time already, but I'd like to answer one question here. Is there a best time to conduct or host engagement activities? Because one of the comment we got was to know the real battle going on in the ground. Most of the time, our engagement activities are perceived or felt as an added burden. So I know a lot of HR practitioners nakaka-relate dyan sa question ng attendee. Maybe my number one tip na lang, my only tip is to talk to the employees, because what we do here in Sprout, after work hours. Why? Kasi syempre ayaw naman namin maano yung momentum ng employees while they're doing their work. But at the same time, ayaw din natin na yung time kasi is between 5 to 7 p.m. It's just 1 hour. Ayaw din naman natin na maano yung dinner nila, or kung may lakad man sila after, kung pwede nang lumabas rather. But just talk to employees, and then some of our employees naman, minsan nag-overtime sila. So what we do is we have a separate employee engagement for that team. So just make sure that you accommodate every employee and know their schedules. And interdepartmental engagement activities can also be helpful, because you have to acknowledge that there are different schedules for each teams. That's it. Thank you, Samira.
Okay, thank you, Miss Shan, Mr. Fitz, and Mr. Razor for that one. Okay. So guys, unfortunately that is all the time that we have for our question and answer portion. But again, guys, thank you so much for those who sent their questions, and I hope, or we hope actually, that we were able to answer the questions that you have here. So, for any e-certificates request, guys, you may follow the instructions that you see on your screens, or send your request through this link. So you can go ahead and use the QR code. Feel free to you to request e-certificates here. So now for the moment that we've all been waiting for, before we end, guys, we'd like to announce the lucky raffle winner. Actually, the lucky raffle winner here is, wait on, getting up the name here. So it is, wait, hold on. Oh, wait. Okay, guys. Hold. Give me like a minute. Okay, the name for the raffle winner is Angelina Reyes. Again, guys, her name is Angelina Reyes. Please go ahead and message us, and we'll go ahead and provide you the raffle 200 peso grab. You can use it for grab food. I personally love to use grab food, so 200 pesos is a lot. All right, again, guys, her name is Angelina Reyes. Please go ahead and get up your name here, your prize here. So thank you so much, guys, for joining this episode 8 of webinar. We hope to see you again next webinar. And please don't forget to follow our social media pages and use hashtag SproutHRExperts to be updated on our events. So again, guys, we love to provide you a really relatable topics. So go ahead and check out our social media pages. So you can go ahead and see what our future topics will be moving on. So I hope to see you guys on the next webinar. So stay safe, guys, and happy Thursday again. Goodbye.